When you think of Chicago, what comes to mind? Probably skyscrapers, right? Maybe deep dish pizza, or the legacy of Michael Jordan. But the real story of this city, the one we're going to get into, is all about constant, absolutely radical reinvention. And it all kicks off with a question I promise you'd never expect.
Okay, so what on earth does a wild onion?
Have to do with one of the greatest cities on the planet? Well, the answer, believe it or not, is everything. And to understand why, we've got to go all the way back to the beginning. To really get Chicago, you have to peel back the layers. You got to forget the skyscrapers and the noise for just a minute and go back to the marshy land it was all built on. See, long before it was Chicago, the Miami, Illinois people called this place Chicaquah. It literally translates to wild onion or wild garlic, simply because that's what was growing everywhere. A pretty humble, earthy start for a city that would become a global powerhouse, right? All right, so fast forward to the 1780s, the modern city begins with just a single trading post, set up by a pioneer of Haitian descent named Jean-Baptiste Point du Sable. And from that one little spot, things just exploded. By 1837, it was officially a city. But to really become the city it was meant to be, Chicago had to do something that was pretty much impossible. This brings us to the city's first great act of reinvention. And it wasn't about building something new. It was about bending nature to its will in a way nobody had ever seen before. So check this out. The city was booming, which was great, but it had a huge problem. It was dumping all its waste and sewage into the Chicago River, which then flowed right into Lake Michigan. And yeah, Lake Michigan was where they got all their drinking water. It was a massive, ticking time bomb. Their solution? It was completely audacious. I mean, you have to hear this to believe it. By the year 1900, engineers finished this massive system of canals and locks that did the unthinkable. They actually made the Chicago River flow backward, away from the lake. This wasn't just some public works project. This was a statement. It was a city that was willing to literally reinvent its own geography to survive. And that spirit, that willingness to tackle the impossible, well, in 1871, it was about to be tested like never before, in what would become the city's most defining moment. Just take a look at this timeline. It's wild. In 1871, the Great Chicago Fire basically erases a huge chunk of the city, total devastation. But instead of giving up, it sparks this insane building frenzy. And just 14 years later, Chicago gives the entire world the very first skyscraper. Out of the literal ashes of the old city, the blueprint for the modern metropolis was born. And hey, here's a fun fact you can use at your next trivia night. We all call it the Windy City, right? Well, that name didn't originally have anything to do with the weather. It was actually a dig from rival cities about Chicago's boastful, long-winded politicians who were trying to land the 1893 World's Fair. And you know what? The name just stuck. All of this industrial power and ambition fueled the city's next great reinvention, becoming the economic engine for the entire United States. This chart does a great job of showing that evolution. The city went from being known as the meatpacking capital and the absolute center of the railroad universe to a truly modern, diversified economy. That old industrial core has been transformed into a hub for global finance, think giants like the CME Group, and a booming tech scene they're calling the Silicon Prairie. The engine just keeps evolving. And its reach is absolutely global. Get this, Chicago is home to over 80 foreign consulates. That means it's not just another big American city. It's the clear diplomatic and economic capital of the entire Midwest, a critical link to the rest of the world. But look, a city is way more than just buildings and money, right? It's about the people. And Chicago's story is a really powerful and really complex story of migration. This chart gives you a snapshot of a city with incredible diversity, a place with no single majority group. This mix was really forged by waves of European immigration, but also, so crucially, by the Great Migration, which saw hundreds of thousands of African Americans move from the rural South to get jobs in the city's booming industries. But, this story is complicated. It's a real double-edged sword. On one side, all that migration created an unbelievably vibrant culture. The Chicago blues, the jazz scene, that was born directly from this movement. But on the other side, it created some deep, deep social challenges. The city became one of the most segregated in America, leading to persistent problems with inequality that it's still wrestling with today. So, you take the fire, the river, this complex mix of people. What does all that history cook up? Let's take a quick look at the culture that defines Chicago today. First things first, you can't talk about modern Chicago without talking about the food. It's practically a religion there.
You've got the world-famous deep dish pizza, the legendary Italian beef sandwich, and of course, the very specific and very serious Chicago-style hot dog.
And that hot dog? It comes with a rule. And trust me, this isn't a suggestion. It's an ironclad law of the city. No ketchup. Ever. It's mustard, relish, onions, tomatoes, peppers, a pickle spear, and a dash of celery salt. That is it. Don't even think about asking for ketchup. You've been warned.
And that same kind of passion, you see it everywhere in their sports. You've got the historic dynasty of Michael Jordan's Bulls, the toughest nails Bears, the Blackhawks, and one of the absolute best rivalries in all of sports, the Northside Cubs versus the Southside White Sox. It's a city split by baseball, but totally united in its love for the game.
And finally, you just can't talk about Chicago without talking about its art and architecture. I mean, from seeing the skyline reflected in the Bean to exploring the incredible treasures in the Art Institute, the city itself feels like a museum. It's a living, breathing gallery built on the foundations of its own past.
So, it all comes back to that wild onion, doesn't it? From Shikkawaka growing in a marsh to a global metropolis that literally reversed a river and invented the skyscraper from its own ashes. The story of Chicago isn't just about getting bigger. It's about constant, fearless reinvention. And that just leaves us with one final question. What on earth will its next transformation be?